This is your January 2025 soul story. If you have a sun rising or moon in the sign, this is your reading. Welcome to this new year. Welcome to my channel. It's Romy here. Let's start your reading with the energy of temperance. I do think in January you're going to adapt, but there's a realization that maybe you can't stay in the places that you've now outgrown. Temperance comes in though with a reminder that we don't have to do everything all at once. You know, there's just a opportunity to sort of find your rhythm and really think about the personal season and cycle that you're in at the moment, not kind of what's being projected towards you around what should be done, what ought to be done at this moment in time. There's something about coming back into balance with yourself. Maybe that's about, you know, the anxiety of the season just needing to be cleared, you know, the enormity of just what you needed to let go of. And perhaps it's about finding peace with what didn't happen. And, you know, that might be a big one for you in terms of looking back over the last 12 months. There's a real sensitivity to the beginning part of January. I say that because we have a lot of water energy coming into this kind of stoic Capricorn season. On the 2nd, Vesta moves into Scorpio and she's holding space, that sacred inner flame, with a intentional focus around deeply transformative healing. But that means going there, acknowledging and facing up to things. We also have Venus in Pisces from the 3rd of the month. And, you know, there's a question mark, I think, around, you know, do I still love this? Or am I at the point where I need to explore something different, something new? It does help us to find flow, and Mars shifting from retrograde energy in Leo into Cancer on the 6th of the month is going to be an interesting one. I think there's an awful lot of opportunity to review the ways in which you emotionally handled situations. And as you work through that cycle, there's definitely some times where there, you know, are sort of moments where you feel somewhat triggered, and maybe everybody's walking on eggshells just a little bit during that cycle. But I think at the same time it really helps you to review and consider like appropriate boundaries for yourself moving forward. All of this leading and building up to this really beautiful full moon in Cancer on the 13th. And I do think that there's a moment of just kind of profound emotional release coming in for you at that time. Maybe something quite cathartic, maybe something that you've been holding on to for a long time. There may have been a lot of purging going on, and perhaps this is the opportunity where you just start to feel like you've really cleansed and you're now sort of leaning into a little bit of a fresh perspective and a different approach and attitude. Now, we've got the Emperor coming through here. And, you know, remember, along with temperance, like the Emperor is very mindful about the timing of things, when the right time to execute is. You know, he's bringing this maturity to the table. And I think he's also wanting you to look at support systems, right? I think that's also going to be like a big theme for you. Remember, you're in 4th house energy in Capricorn. So what are these support systems? What do you need them to be? Let's set an intention for, you know, what exists in your world right now and how to strengthen that. Or if there's huge gaps where you really need to address things. Now, a support system can come along in many different guises. Yes, it might be the people around you. You know, it might be the rituals that you participate in or that you welcome into your day-to-day experiences that are really going to help you to find that balance and that equilibrium. So the Emperor comes through maybe with at times a little bit of a strict, harsh energy, but he's maybe calling out things that you do know to be true. So the revelations around that full moon in Cancer, albeit emotional, are also very important because I think they highlight to you the things that are, you know, are like, okay, I need to start truly living, not just kind of going through the motions with things. And that means that I have to bring in more of this support so that I can feel like I've got oxygen to breathe and space to move and opportunities to find that flow, right? I think they also want to bring through this reminder that, you know, whilst we need to have plans always. 2025 to me feels like there's a requirement to be incredibly fluid and adaptable, because plans are going to consistently and repeatedly change. And if we become too fixed and too certain on a specific way of doing things, or setting an expectation on ourselves or others, I think we're more likely to like power into these sort of pathways of confusion when everything feels like it's moving in different directions, or coming up to bring about things that weren't fully understood or appreciated. You've got the moon. I mean, we've got 3 powerful majors opening up your month of January, Libra, and the moon does tell me that there's something that you're going into in a much more deep and meaningful way to unlock something within your own subconscious. And I think that awareness of where some of the limitations are still holding you up, is something that you do genuinely want to face, and particularly where there may be some fears or some anxiety around particular situations or scenarios that are going on for you. Remember, a lot of that energy retrograde in Cancer sort of got you moving very inwardly and indirectly with things, and sometimes we just have to step outside of ourselves, get back in and around people and community, and just give ourselves a fresh perspective. So if you're finding at all that you're moving into that slightly paranoid or sort of energy where you're overthinking, just take note if you've maybe cut yourself off, or you've been too disconnected from the things that actually help to really ground and support you. And again, back to this idea of support systems, it's going to be a big theme for you in January. Now, as we move into the air energy of Aquarius, that definitely speaks more of your language, and I think there's something that you are coming to terms with, but you're also realizing it's the little things that really matter. And in your 4 of Swords energy, along with Temperance, there's definitely this just like giving yourself some time. Maybe we're also savoring things really beautifully through the month of January. Maybe not everything is perfect, but the things that are good and feeling really right for you, maybe you just sit and bask in the energy of that for a little while. There's always a part of us that at some point needs to sort of pick herself up, dust herself down, and realize that the only thing to do is just to keep going and keep moving forwards. And on the way, the sun begins to shine again, and that's when we start to feel alive once more. But if you need the respite, if you need some time out, if you need to just disconnect, then so be it. You take the time that is aligned to your personal season and cycle this month, okay? There's something deeply restorative, I feel, happening for you in the month of January, whether that's something that you're aware you need to give to yourself and you actually dedicate and invest in that, or whether there are things showing up externally that just remind you and sort of give you that sense of well-being. I think that there's some positive boosts that come in that just help to bring about that equilibrium for you in a better way. Now, as I said, the sensitivity is pretty strong in the first part of January, so you might want to hold back in the timing of having any really important conversations until after that full moon, where I think you're just going to feel a little bit more clear in your thinking, and also, in tune with what your heart is telling you. Heart discernment, really important through the month of January, okay? So this Aquarius energy builds. Mercury shifts into the sign the 27th. We've got the new moon on the 29th, same day as the lunar new year comes in, and the energy of the wood snake really going to be teaching us how to consistently, continuously shed skins in the course of the next 12 months, which is going to be wonderful, because it's just going to help bring you back closer and closer to who you are, what you're meant to be doing, where you're meant to be. 8 of Pentacles here. You see, given the time to actually restore and recharge your energy, you come back stronger with regards to something. The Emperor also ensures that. And it also tells me that where you are applying and directing your energy, you're doing it towards the right things. And that might be a part of where you've been looking back and thinking, do you know what? Like, I actually not wasted time, but I spent an awful lot of energy or money or resources or whatever, it was on something that maybe in hindsight, I wished I hadn't, or there were perhaps better choices that I could have made. No judgment, no regret. This is just about drawing a line and realizing at this moment that if you want things to materialize in a certain area of your life, that's where the focus needs to be. And I see you really dedicating and being quite disciplined with regards to something. Again, it doesn't need to be that there's like huge amounts of hours and, you know, like so much put in. Like I said, it's the little things, but it's just the consistency of the little things that start to come together and really bring about a beautiful change for you. I also want to call out on the 21st this energy with Pluto and the Sun, this Pluto Kazemi coming in at 1 degree. You know, there's a trigger point, a release here. There's something that you're leaning into. Perhaps you've wanted to avoid or to bypass a little bit, but no, here it is. It keeps coming back around until we face that. Again, I think you're doing it, and you're doing it with a sense of like, okay, you know, let's tackle this. Now, the Nine of Swords and the Moon tell me it's one of your greatest fears. It's something that's been really gripping hold in some area, and you know, maybe you thought you dealt with it, or some situation has sort of like triggered it again, and it's impacting on lots of different areas of your life, right? It's not just the one thing that you maybe have that uncertainty over. It's maybe holding you back or skewing your perspective, you know, or looking like it's actually preventing you from really being able to see the true reality of the things that are coming in, what's buoyant, what's positive, what's opening up and expansive for you in your world right now. So this is where we have the work that needs to be done to address this. And what we start to do as we kind of unpick a lot of these things is we just clear space. We release, we release, we release. There's so much going on that's supporting and helping you to rewire things. You know so much. Like, no one can take that away from you. Like, the amount of work that you've put into yourself, the experiences that you've been through, right? You're at this point in time where it's just like, okay, like I really need to just allow more beauty to sort of penetrate my world right now, and really get on board with the fact that I know how to handle this. I know the things I need to do. And what's really coming down to it is that I just need to do them. And, you know, if that doesn't start in January, that's okay. But there's a realization that from this point forth, that revolution is happening. Now, Uranus stations direct in Taurus on the 30th. Sun trines with Jupiter the same day. So there's kind of a lucky, auspicious sort of movement that's felt. Now, something might come in quite suddenly, a bit unexpectedly with regards to the timing of that end of the month, but I feel like it delivers a big old silver lining for you, where you can see something, and maybe something didn't look as bad as actually what you thought it did, right? I think that Nine of Swords kind of clears itself out, and you're actually able to, it's almost like when things feel worse in the night, and then in the, you know, the light of the morning, it just kind of thinks, oh, okay, that really isn't so bad. I don't know why I got myself in such a state over it. I kind of feel like that's happening for you toward the end of the month. I also want to say to you that I think, you know, when we talk about this idea of support systems, there's somebody that needs you right now. Whether they're admitting it or not, I'm not sure. But I think you have that sort of indirect energy that's coming from them, where they're always like making it clear but not really being direct and asking. Yeah, it could be a bit frustrating, because I think you've maybe already offered or tried to help time and time and time again, but you know, everyone takes the time that they take in order to sort of come to a realization. But I think there's maybe even a little bit of shame or a little bit of regret that they've got. So there's a very indirect approach towards coming towards you to say, listen, actually, can we revisit this, or I need your help, or there's just something that's coming up in and around that for you to explore. Okay. I want to say that this feels like a month for you where you can savor things, but in the savoring and the appreciation of what you have, also the making peace of what didn't show up, this ability of adapting is so powerful. And I think what's needed to support that, remember, through fourth house especially, is the inner parenting, the championing, the believing in, the honoring, respecting, and building yourself up as much as you possibly can, so that you know, actually, I can take this on, I can change, I can, you know, shift focus or change tack or whatever it is that's being asked of you, or how the energy is flowing towards you. Your adaptability is king, and it's absolutely key this month. Now, I'll also say there's a lot of romantic energy to work with in January, if that's sort of where your pathway is taking you. The sensitivity, Venus in Pisces, full moon in Cancer. We've got a beautiful Venus trining with Mars on the 25th. It's a really nice day. If it's not romantically focused, it can really help you support the passion emotions that you have in your world, especially fifth house energy for you in Aquarius season. And again, that Eight of Pentacles, it's like devoting yourself to what you love is going to bring a tremendous amount of solace and a huge amount of progress and gain actually through the month of January as well. So you get to fall back in love with something or discover something new to fall in love with. Venus and Pisces really helping to kind of soothe the way and support that soul tending. So if you're new to the channel, Libra, our last 3 cards we look in the extended reading to explore. You'll find the link beneath. We talk for another 25 minutes or so. We're going to look at a relationship card and a personal question for you also. I'm just clarifying here to see the direction we're going to take this. 2 Cups, King of Swords. We've got the Devil coming in here. Page of Air. Now you can check out over on my website, romywiser.com, my sacred titles. My new journal has been shipping. Thank you for all of those who've reached out to let me know about their experiences. This is the soul companion you need moving forward this year and beyond. Alongside my oracle deck, Life Soul Vision, and my book, Moon Musings, these 3 titles deliberately, you know, harmoniously working together to just give you what you need in that sense of a support system, right? Like I said, support system showing up in lots of different ways. You got another 9 of Swords coming in here, you know, there's definitely some anxiety that feels like it's sort of impacting you through the course of this month, but you know what, we can work through it and we can clear it. And actually in some ways it's maybe going to be a good thing that you just face it now, rather than it sort of eating away at you or, you know, storing itself within your physical body. Right, let's have a look at our oracle cards. So this is my own deck. All the decks are always listed below for you, Libra. What do we have coming through here? We've got the Queen of Fire, Sacred Inner Flame, beautiful. We've got Throat Energy, love that. Casting Out Constellations, this is the way, this is the work. We've got Eclipse Revelations, Nourishing Your Inner Wealth. And we've got the Sun, beautiful, nice to see. Okay, let's have a look at a Unicorn Oracle card for the month of January for you, Libra. What do we have? Let's show. Not O'Clock Time. It's shown up a few times this month. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you'll join me on the extended. Listen, have a beautiful month. You take good care of yourself, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.